So I am currently in the middle of some very random musings about science, and I thought I'd share. Can we just acknowledge for a second the difference between knowing how something works and knowing if it works? Like, those are two very different things. And somehow in our culture, we have decided that knowing how something works is one, first, like super, super important, the epitome of importance, and two, a prerequisite for implementing if it works. It's like, oh, I get very angry. The placebo effect, for example. We know that it works. It works. Data has backed this up forever. It shows that it works. Do we know how it works? Not fully. It could definitely be argued that we do, but we don't need to go there. We don't have to have consensus. Let's just say we don't know how it works. Do we know that it works? Yes. Do we know how? No. Why don't we implement it? Why don't we try to use it? We don't know how it works, but we know how to create it. We know how to trigger it. We know what to do with it. I mean, there's such amazing people in this world doing research on this, people like Joe Dispenza and people in the mind energy world. The book Radical Remission is another one. There were all these case studies that doctors had of their patients and which patients of theirs had these miraculous recoveries, looking at cancer specifically. And they would just kind of write up these case studies and then set them aside. And this woman, I don't remember her name, it's a book, you can Google it, was like, wait, why aren't we looking at this? And so she compiled all these people who had these radical remissions and said, what are the key factors that they had implemented in their lives that they say influenced their radical remission. And we don't know how it works, but we do know that it works. There's so much data for various things in our world. And there's something about our mind that we are so trained in this society to have to understand it before we implement it. And it's really frustrating. You don't have to understand it. Your mind does not have to understand it. You can take the things that work. You may not know why they work. Maybe they only work for you. Take the things in your world. Who knows why we are the way we are? But you don't have to know. You don't have to understand why something works, how it works. You just have to know that it does or doesn't. And that's just collecting data. That's just observing. That's just noticing. And that distinction, I don't know, I guess in my life right now is providing a lot of clarity. Like, oh, I don't actually have to understand the all ins and outs of all the things. I just have to know what works and what doesn't. Who gives a crap why? So, for whoever needs that today.